Hey, I'm Joseph Weisner, and this is my brother Josh. Thank you for watching. Hey everybody, it is December 2016. It is almost Christmas time. As you might have noticed, Joshua is wearing a very festive sweater, and so that is exciting. We're just wanting to do a little bit of a video today explaining one of the videos that we actually made when we were younger, one of our first films that we started out with. But I wanted to start by first giving Joshua a second to introduce himself a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'm like you said, I'm Joshua Weisner, and I'm currently going to school as a teleproduction student, and so doing that right now. I'm not really making a ton of films right now because I'm still in school, but doing that and helping out with this project, I guess.
Fantastic. All right, so the video that we are going to be analyzing today is one that we strangely named Back in the Day, and that's the name of the film. It's about how long is the running time?
I don't have the whole Back in the Day. I just have. You remember how we made the Snickers commercial after? There was like a more short version of it. I don't think I have the original Back in the Day.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Well, we're gonna watch a shorter version of a longer short film that we did. That's called Back in the Day. I think the original was about 8 minutes long.
Yeah, this one's only 52.
Okay,
seconds.
so this one's 52 seconds, so it shouldn't be too much. So we're gonna be sort of playing it and then pausing it and talking about what we just watched, and you guys will get to see exactly what it is we're watching along with us. So it's going to be like a start and stop commentary a little bit. So I hope you enjoy it, and let's jump into it. Okay, so I guess sort of what we've seen right now is the opener sort of telling the story that when I run past and he comes up behind me and shoots at me or whatever that was that we were shooting with, it sort of tell the story that obviously he is chasing me and we don't really know what for yet. And then the next shot we just looked at is me jumping out of a tree where I hit him on the head, it sort of surprise attack or something. And basically what this is leading up to what it's going to be revealed to at the end of the film. So basically the whole video is kind of like a revelation story where it's like you see a whole bunch of action but you're not really sure why until the end of the story where it all makes sense. That's sort of like what we were going for, and we chose black and white. Not really. Do you remember why we chose black and white?
It's just to make it look old, and it's got that rustic feel to it. I think there's actually another filter on it to give it that old like projector look, kind of little lines through it and everything.
Cool. And again, this was filmed on a Nikon Coolpix camera. It was like a little purple camera that we had, and I believe everything was filmed on a tripod with this film, correct?
Yeah.
And the reason we did that is because older films were all filmed on tripods. You never see an older film where it was like handheld shot where you're like walking around the room or anything like you do in today's films. And so that's sort of the reason we were going for. Also, I don't think either of us are huge fans of the walk-around look. Not too much. We prefer to have a little bit more of a clean. Now, I'm not innocent of using that look, but when it comes down to it, I think we're a little bit more, we gravitate more towards the cleaner, steady shot look, or even just like jib movements that are just smooth but not too complex where we're walking all over the room. You know, not the Bourne Identity or the Jason Bourne movies kind of style. Not really.
And it probably also would help if you had a camera guy.
Yes. Also, I don't think we had a camera person. I think we just set it up on the tripod and just recorded and just went with it. So we actually, I guess this is a two-man crew.
Yep.
And also two actors. So
and there's no audio in it, so we didn't have to have like an audio operator or.
I'll talk about that in just a second. Okay, so where we're at, we've seen again situations happen where after I hit him on the head, I go and check to see if he's alive, and he wakes up and he strangles me a little bit. And then we run across the bridge to show the idea of him chasing me some more. And we're getting closer to the lead up where this is the end, and we're about to getting closer to revealing what's actually going to happen. And so again, going back to where he was talking about with the audio, it's in the last film that I talked about, I said you need visuals and you need something to hear. And what we chose for this film was just to have music. And again, it has to do with the vintage idea that a lot of older films didn't have, or this age of films where it looked this old, where everything was black and white and you had all that grain and stuff in it. They only had music, and if they wanted to know what the audience wanted to know what they were saying, they would like usually mouth the words, and then a picture would come up of showing exactly what it was that they just said. So we didn't go for that look of us like trying to make a screenshot or a flashcard of what we were saying. So we just didn't have any audio in it at all with where it was on set recording. It was just the music in the background too, and told the story visually. So that's also it can be a little bit of a challenge at times to tell a story just visually without any audio. And but I think what we're about to show you again here in just a second is the end. It reveals what the whole little film was about, and so it all kind of come together and makes sense. Okay, all right, go ahead and do it.
Okay, so what we just saw, the last part was the big reveal, the reveal of what it is. What we see after? Why were they chasing? The whole purpose of it, and he got his Snickers. He wanted his Snicker bar through the whole movie, so he was chasing him. He actually was shooting at him too, so he wanted to kill him over his Snicker. And then we see at the end, once he got the Snicker, he kind of just left him there. He's like, what? He stole my Snicker. And then he was, I guess, pretty hungry because he got to eat it. We didn't get to see the eating of the Snicker, but, I mean, we all know what he's going to do next. Eat it. So
yeah, he was willing to kill for the Snickers. I'm sure you noticed that is not a vintage Snicker wrapper, and that just has to do with we just didn't have our hands on a vintage Snicker, so I don't even know how old Snickers is. But the idea is just it was more of like a fun project that we sort of came up with. I think we came up with a story of us chasing for something before we actually decided it was going to be a Snickers bar. And then it also gives like an interesting little idea that it's saying that a Snickers is worth killing for. A Snickers is worth just hot pursuit of throughout the film. And then also it also just gives the idea that, you know, Snickers has been loved by people for a really long time. So it's an interesting little take on a short little story we did. So what are some ideas about finishing up with how we finished it with the technical creative side of it?
I guess you could just look at all the shots we did, and how we set up the shots on a tripod with nobody filming, for one. So we had to, I guess we're all in this frame. We didn't fill the frame great because, you know, nobody's behind the tripod, so it's a bit wide. There's a bit like stuff on the side, and there was a lot of headroom and stuff. But I mean, overall, I really liked it with nobody filming at all. So I guess that was really good.
And this is when we were both plunging ourselves into the filmmaking genre in general. We didn't have any equipment except for that camera and like a cheap $20 Walmart tripod, and that was it. So this was probably like we did like 2 other really small short things, and then this was probably like the 3rd thing we ever did, and it was probably all within a month of starting. So this is our very beginnings. This is truly back in the day. That was a bit corny. Yeah. But so that's sort of where we were going. This was before either of us had any education or was getting into the idea of filmmaking. I guess sort of what I want to finish on is saying a little bit about having a passion for a story and telling a story visually. A lot of people want to spend so much time and so much money on getting a good camera that shoots HD, and they spend hours on getting a close-up shot of, like, I don't know, somebody's hand or something, just to try to make it look amazing. And I would say that that's good if you have the time and the money and the resources to be able to spend time on that. But I would say, especially starting out, focus more on your ability to tell stories, on your ability to set up a camera and to say, how are we going to tell a story this way? I mean, I think we're getting away from a little bit of what looks cool and what is actually going to be touching to the audience. And so I think if we can sort of, at least I am encouraging everyone who is getting into this field to focus more on the story and making that as best as it can, and focusing on how the actors are going to tell the story and all that before you start worrying so much on what it is that you want to show, how to make it the most beautiful film, because eventually everyone's going to get there to where you have the cameras and the resources and the money to make great shots, but you need to be able to tell a story, otherwise all that is kind of pointless. So getting started, really focus on just telling your story visually and getting it across, making it clear for the audience, because there's a lot of films that honestly you can watch and you come to the end of the film and you're like, yeah, I saw a bunch of cool shots, but I don't know what I just watched. I don't really know what the story was in the end. So I want to just sort of finish on that. Do you have any final thoughts you want to say?
No.
No? All right. Well, thank you all for watching this special little video. Thank you, Joshua, for joining me on this one. And look forward to seeing us do more videos like this together in the near future. Thank you for watching. Peace out.
You can get a thing to set this as an external screen, make your phone an external screen.
Yeah.